Hello everyone here, and today you're joined by Ridgeway Rail, and today we're back out on the railway, and I am doing a review of my fleet of 6 N-scale locomotives, and they're an odd bunch, not really fitting in with just kind of the region of everything. By the way, if you're wondering, since this is my first video, this is the village of Ridgeway, Oregon. I don't think you can really see that there, but that says Ridgeway on the station sign right there. This is the town. It's a work in progress layout. It's my first ever N-scale layout, and so, yep, some stuff still needs to be filled in, but it's going along really well. But on to the point of today's video, we're going to be reviewing locomotives, so I'll start off with the end down here. Let's move these out of the way. This old looking fellow here, I believe, is an F7 unit from the 1950s and 60s of American railroads. For you European fans, obviously this looks somewhat strange compared to your locomotives, but this is pretty standard stuff back in the 50s and 60s over here. And it is Amtrak number 120 F7 unit. It is weathered, but I got this for a lucky buy of $5 at a model store. It's made by Atlas. I got this for a lucky score of $5 because when I bought it, it did not run. You put it on the track, turn on the power, and all it did was go rah, just make noises. And so we replaced some of the gears in it, got it all oiled up, and cleaned some of the electronics, the electrics on it, and now it works. It works pretty well. It is pretty loud for a locomotive, though, but it works. It does its job pretty well. And I'll run them after I get done reviewing them, so I'll put it on the track right here. Let me get it lined up. I think that'll work. Get the power on, just make sure it's on the track, and we'll make it go. So yeah, it runs pretty well. It runs pretty well for a little locomotive that didn't work after I bought it. So we'll put that down there, and we'll switch that off. And we'll move on to the second one, which is same type of locomotive as the Amtrak one, but this is a Western Maryland one. It has a more modern coupler on it, as you can see. And this one also did not run, and this one I believe lights up, like the other one doesn't light up. This one's a little bit newer. This one's made in China. This is Bachmann. The Amtrak one was made in don't think you can see that. There you go. It's made in Austria, Atlas. So this one's a little bit older. In my opinion, if it comes from Europe or UK or something like that, it's higher quality than the ones. But if you ever bought Kato models from Japan and stuff like that, they're still high quality. They run pretty well. But this Western Maryland one is basically the same on the inside. Runs the same, goes the same. Just put it on the track and run it. Yeah, I forgot. Hold up. Gotta switch it there. And then come on, needs a little encouragement to go, and then off she goes. Yeah. There you go. So that's the Western Maryland F7, and then I'll move on to, I think this is personally my favorite locomotive. It is a, what is this? I'm gonna have to check on the box I got it in. This came in from a model shop that I got. This is a JNR Edie 114 or JNR Edie 14 Japanese shunter locomotive. And there are some decals for numbers, as you can see right there. But this little electric locomotive, I bought this for 30 bucks, I think. Not too bad, but it's an interesting little locomotive. It's pretty loud when you run it for the size it is, but it runs pretty well and does pretty well for my little bit of shunting of cars on this little oval layout, and it does its job pretty well. I'll put it on and run it. Make sure to put the make sure to put the pantograph up. There we go. And send it off. And it's pretty fast for its little locomotive it is. And then, after that one, move on to the bigger locomotives. This is a Great Northern, I want to say, if I am not correct, this is some sort of SD unit. I'm not gonna try and name it. You know what? I have boxes to all of them. I don't know why I just didn't name it now. It is a... No, not that one. This was an Atlas. This was a EMD. This was an EMD FD7. EMD SD7, this Great Northern. And by Atlas. And I got this from the same model shop that I got the little blue Japanese locomotive. And this is Great Northern number 568. And this is one of my bigger freight locomotives that I like to use to pull a lot of cars around, stuff like that. And it does its jobs pretty well. This is one of the little bit more modern locomotives. It can be fitted with the DCC chip, but I'm just running DC on this, so it's a little bit less expensive. And it lights up, has directional lighting, as you can see right here. The cab lights up too, and then lighting on this side. There's lighting on this side too. And I'll also put it on the track. It's a little bit quieter. My last three locomotives are a little bit more modern than my others, and they run much quieter. And as you can see, watch the little slits in the front. They'll turn on. There we go. There's the lights. And so it runs really well. For a little end scale locomotive. Put this one right down here. We'll switch on to my oldest end scale locomotive that I have, or at least the one I've had for the longest, not probably the oldest that's been around. This little Union Pacific EMD SD45. Had to go look at the box. This EMD SD45 is my oldest model. I bought this when I wasn't really decided on what I was going to do. Was I going to do HO, since I have a load of HO scale stuff, but I don't really have the space to do an HO layout, so I decided, I'll just do this and do N scale. And then it kind of just sat around for a year or so until I finally got my stuff together and figured out what I was going to do. But it still runs like a dream. And it also has directional lighting, just like the Great Northern locomotive. As you can see, this is Union Pacific number 6. And lights up on the back there, and lights up on the front here. And also, you notice the couplers on a couple of my older locomotives, such as my Amtrak and my Blue Shunter. They have the older kind of knuckle-style couplers, and they don't really work that well with some of the newer cars, so I had to buy a couple bogies with the newer couplers on them on a couple of my cars so that I can run them. But this one runs pretty well. They're also very finely detailed. Most of them are Kato models, except for the little Great Northern locomotive and a couple of the other ones. But Kato does a really good job of making these locomotives, and we'll put it on the track. This one's a little bit louder, and it kind of has a wearing noise to it. You'll hear that when it runs. Kind of makes a squeak every now and then, but that's just because it needs to be oiled sometime, and I'll get that done. But still runs really well. And then on to my last locomotive is my Amtrak number 5 GE Genesis, or I'm gonna have to, can't remember what this one was called. It was something DC, but I just refer to them as Genesis locomotives. GE Genesis. And this one is probably my most modern locomotive. I got this at a railway swap meet not too far from here. And it's my passenger locomotive on my layout. I have two Amtrak Superliner double-decker silver cars. One's a lounge car, one's regular, and then goes behind this. And this is the Era 3 paint scheme, I believe. So, yeah, it's pretty nice. It also has directional lighting on the back and the front, and it runs, you can barely tell it's running. It's super quiet, and it has the modern couplers on it, so it's very finely detailed for a little N scale model. And this is also able to be equipped with a DCC chip. Get that on there and watch it go. Super quiet, barely even tell the noise from it. It's a really quiet locomotive. Up and there's the lights. It also has white lights instead of yellow like my other locomotives. Runs very smoothly, and it's a good locomotive. So that is my fleet review of the little Ridgeway Rails fleet of N-scale locomotives. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and there'll be more videos like this to come. I'll be reviewing more engines and stuff like that as I accumulate them, and let updates on the layout. And once this layout's finished, I plan on doing another one. I think I'm planning on doing like a British themed one, so I'll have some mix up for some locomotives there, and it looks pretty well. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and this is Ridgeway Rail 04 signing off.